And we're back, everyone. Okay, we're picking back up real fast. This should be now Wednesday. I'll be going through and hopefully not having any problems. Famous last words. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, they're still building the wall. That's exciting, right? I was talking about marble. I do believe the best choice for a room, a bedroom, is a natural marble space. And if you have to sacrifice size just to get the number of rooms up, it's probably worth it. If you can smooth natural marble, the quality is significantly better. It is also a lot more work. So it's kind of a catch-22. I don't know if I'd say it's better. Finally, I start clearing out the home spaces. This is an absolute must when you start building these walls, because otherwise they just start cleaning like everywhere. Not actually joking. I have a mod that increases the durability of walls. Ironically, I installed it and then I played a fort. I think you guys saw that fort. It would have been a while ago from your perspective. From my perspective, well, yeah, it's still a while ago, but it was right before this fort, sequentially, numerically. Anyway, yeah, I eventually moved on. That fort. It was a good fort, and yeah, it died. It's a tragedy. That would be the one where they had smart people and shields. I had never seen shields up until that point. First time I'd ever seen shields, and they charged me with shields, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And they just melee the crap out of my people. Super annoying. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm totally off. Ooh, a raid. Yeah, it's one whole whopping person. The best way to deal with these early raids is just traps. I know it's not exciting, but honestly, see, I just start doing this. It's effective. You put it down in the path that the AI is going to walk, most likely. Corners are fantastic for this, because guess what? If the AI has to go past a corner, it has to go past a corner. And due to the way they program it, they don't actually really want to stand out in the open. You can actually use this mechanic really well because it basically forces the AI either to walk through a death trap, literally, or get shot at. Either way, it's a win-win for you, and it is something you should explore. And I'm so lost what I was saying earlier. I had something important I was saying. Well, I know I was talking about the marble rooms, so we're going to go back there. Oh, home territory? Nah, I don't think that was it. Anyway, marble rooms are a ton of work. They are a pain to build. I honestly don't necessarily say it's worth doing it, like smoothing it, but if you can, it is better than, well, nothing. And that is an accurate statement. I'm tempted to still build a mortar. I've never done a mortar yet. Honestly, you don't really need one. There we go, yeah. And the one guy shows up, and see, he comes along the edge and hits a trap and hits the next trap, and whoop, it's over. That was it. Oh boy, that was exciting. And by exciting, I mean not really. It was quick, it's simple, it's very much boring. I hate corpses. Getting rid of corpses is a pain in my butt. Seriously, I hate the way the game handles corpses. That's awful. Absolutely awful. They just hang around forever. They never go away. They say per day. I don't know if people pay attention to the time scale. While the time scale makes it look like there's a normal time scale going on, like, day to day kind of thing, these days are not normal days. Not even close. I do believe I went through several years and the corpse is still rotting. It's really annoying. That's why you cremate them. That is a useful use for power. Not exactly a good one, and I really wish there was an easier way to do it. Like Molotov cocktails is pretty good, but I don't have Molotov cocktails. I like to get them from traders. It's because they don't run out. There's no resource requirement. You don't need 3,000 chem fuel. You don't need to generate more chem fuel. You just need a freaking Molotov cocktail. One, just one. Yeah. See, how does that work? That really bugs me. Really bugs me. Okay, and this whole fort layout is just awful. But anyway, yeah. It really, really bugs me because you basically have these unlimited fire bombs. Everything else is heavily restricted, but ammunition, man, I got unlimited ammunition. Now, I will admit, okay, if I had to pick between this and Dwarf Fortress, I would actually pick this. Probably one of the biggest irritants in the computer gaming world would be Dwarf Fortress is stupid. And I do mean that. Stupid mechanic in regards to... See, this is what you need to do in order to keep your fort running smoothly, guys. I know that's not exciting. I know this looks really kind of lame. But honestly, it's pretty much everything you need to do to keep the fort running. Leave a little blue band on the walls and they'll repair the walls. Fires, if there's no blue zone, they won't go to the fire. Learning to manage your blue zones. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm suspicious the game doesn't count anything outside those zones. So if you're I need to tinker with it some more. I haven't really refined this. If you have a object XYZ and you're worried about the threat, the aggro that it's going to generate in regards to your fort and whether you're going to have to fight to defend your fort, it is seriously worth. Why did I undo it then? Whatever. It is seriously worth forgetting about. What was it? Well, this is the problem. And I have some I just thought of something kind of moments. I had something. It was important. And now I forgot it. And it won't be until I pause it that I'll know what it was. And I'm not unpausing it because I'm just not going to. Otherwise, I'm going to never finish this. And I want to finish. I do. I really do, guys. Anyway, home zones grow out of control. They're like a plague. They really are. No joke. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. If the game counts your wealth, okay? At one point, I actually moved my money outside the fort. That's further on down the line when I actually start getting more money. You'll notice I have no money. I don't want the stuff. If I could get rid of it, I would be. You don't want money in this game. I don't know why. That's all right. We'll go through it later. This one was awful because I had no access to good caravans. No good merchants came through ever. Anyway, make do. Make do. What you can do is you can theoretically build a little building off to the side and then put anything of high value inside that building and then get rid of all the zones and forbid everything. And in theory, that actually just makes it abandoned, ruined, and it will no longer count towards the threat that your fort naturally generates. See these stupid geysers? I'm trying to figure out how to get them into my fort. I'm just this is so annoying. If I needed the power eventually, this would be useful. I've realized I use really low amounts of power in a fort, really low. I'm serious. You really don't want much power for your fort, ever. Anyone who says you want to use lots of power is wrong. You don't. It's true. Anyway, managing all of this stuff is the trick to this game. It's not immediately apparent. It's not immediately obvious. But again, this is the hardest difficulty, guys. Well, close to the hardest difficulty. I do believe it's the one right underneath it. I could have been 2, but I don't think so. Pretty sure this is it. I mean, if you really think about it, this is kind of disappointing. I'm not trying to like criticize it or anything. I'm serious. Like, when you think about like all the energy and so, yada, yada, yada goes into this game, just realizing you delete the zones and you manage the home zone and keep your home zone small and your fort is more stable because of it, well, it kind of takes a lot of the kick out of the game. You'll notice I got lots of rice. Corn is better. I like rice, though. Rice is fast. It's easy to grow. Corn is better because, you get huge stockpiles of the stuff. Like, absolutely monstrous. You don't need that much corn. You don't need to grow much corn to keep your fort running. If you can actually cycle through the corn supply, that's a weird statement, you will be more than fine if you're with your fort. And if you can see that, like I've got that little ripple pattern going there with the plants, you really want that. You want like some of them growing, some of them new, some of them old. That statement is true. What you don't want is huge stockpiles of food, because it increases your wealth, A. And B, I'm pretty sure if I have a stack of 749, I'm using Ogre stack. So in the regular game, that's what, like 75? I hate the original games. From an original game perspective, this is actually easier, believe it or not. The original game, you can have it if you have a stack of rice. The original game's max is 75 or something like this. I don't remember. I'm at like 750. It's huge. And if I have 749 rice in one stack, that is going to expire in 30 days. And I have one rice that's going to expire in 1 day, I am actually reasonably confident the entire stack goes poof. I've never checked. I've never examined it. I assume, this is an assumption, that the stack has like an averaging thing, so it kind of averages down. In other words, if I add a rice that's about to go really bad into a non-bad stack, that it kind of balances so it doesn't completely trash the value. Yeah, I don't have anything to support this assumption. I built this place too big. Way too big. But, I was looking for just a couple people. One of my first forts, I actually grew a ton of people. I had 13 people. It was such a mess. But that fort was actually far more stable than this fort. And that's kind of a thing to understand. This design, this strategy works really well all the way until you get the fabricator up and running. Once you get the fabricator up and running, despite what you might think that, I've got more advanced technology, it makes everything run more smoothly. No, actually, no. The more advanced your technology gets, literally the more jobs you need. I'm not actually joking. That's counterintuitive at a glance, but it's actually pretty realistic in my opinion. We are reasonably advanced as a civilization right now, more advanced than any other civilization, and yet if you really look around, there are a lot of different jobs out there if you actually look around. I probably have a bit of a glitch there because on my end of something, so you might get a little bit of a loop there. I'm not really sure. Anyway, we used to have tons of careers, or we used to have just pretty much very basic, simple careers. And as we have gone, everything has gotten more complicated. We have a lot more specialization than we used to. We have a lot more specialized jobs than we used to. And that applies to this. Specialization like what we have in our society works because guess what? You can afford to have one person doing one really specific job, whereas, in a fort of, 3 people, you can't. And that's where this strategy really kind of kicks your butt. I really, at one point, thought about expanding my fort, and then I just decided, screw it, we're just going to stick with 3. I really should have, to be honest. This fort would have done very well if I had more people. It would have done very, very well if I had had more people. I really wish I had kept more people because then this would be a completion and I'd be done. And I'd never have to play RimWorld again if I don't want to. Losing this fort kind of took some steam out of me. Man, it was just, you'll see the end videos. Oh man, it was just one disaster after another. And I hate this setup right here. Can I just point this out? This kill box is awful. See, I have that huge section above the box. Just awful. Absolutely awful. But that's all right. Look how big my fort is. I just have to say this. This was driving me crazy when I was trying to figure this all out. And I was just like, man, I really want the power. I really want this. I really want that. And I'm trying to figure out how to get it all to fit in there. And it is just a mess. And there is absolutely no fixing it. Absolutely none whatsoever. But at a glance, it's tempting to have the big fort. Now that I've actually had the pod attacks, is that what they're called, where they fall out of the sky? I think it's a pod attack. Now that I've actually had one of those, I'm absolutely certain this organization, this layout, this setup is an awful choice. Seriously, you need the ability to have your people react quickly and never wander off. The more densely you're packed into one location, the safer you are. There is no ifs and or buts about this. If I have 30 people wandering across the map doing whatever, and someone attacks, you're going to lose people, and there's nothing you can do about it. And losing people in this game is, well, potentially a death knell, especially with just 3 people. But we're not talking about just 3 people. Even with a large fort, it's kind of a joke in Dwarf Fortress. If you don't know, you'll have a master blacksmith, armor smith. He makes all this legendary gear. Oh, there's the floor. Wow, I was way off on that. I thought it was much earlier. Floor is quick, easy to build. It's the paved tiles. It improves the quality, and it gets rid of that dirtiness thing that's a problem for cooking. It doesn't seem to be the way I was when I was making the video last time. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get back to the one thing, which I forgot as well. I was talking about something. Oh, well, crap. Dwarf Fortress. Yeah. Your dwarf wanders outside the fort. That's the one. That's the ticket. An armorsmith and a weaponsmith in Dwarf Fortress is the literal most valuable position you can ever have inside your fort. It is one of the most difficult skills to train up just because of the sheer amount of industry that goes into raising the stats. It's a lot. And if you don't organize it, build it up in the right direction, you basically get screwed. And yeah. Your one super valuable dwarf, the single most valuable dwarf in your fort, will wander outside your fort and then get killed just so he can gather a sock. I really wish that was a joke. It's pretty true. You want to stay densely packed. The more packed you are, the safer you are. I had, on Just RimWorld, some character got eaten by a cougar. And I was literally like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Getting eaten by a cougar. Animals are not worth it. Period. Hunting them is not worth it. Period. Taming them is not worth it. Period. If you have some way to keep the animals contained, and you have all the things set up so that they help, it's more useful. I'm doing the floor, by the way, with tile there, brick tile, because improving the floors makes your people happier than just leaving the wall, fixing the walls. So it's, improving the quality of the room without too much work. Those rooms are way too big. Way too big. I do not know what I was thinking when I built them. Like I said, a 3x4 is plenty. Yeah, I could have compacted. See, I could have compacted all of that a lot better and fit it into a much more efficient layout. That's all right. Yeah. I'm just gathering up that stone. And there's a warg. I hate that thing. Oh, clearing away the roof. Well, that's the thing too. God, this game has so many little annoying quirks. It's not as bad. It is not as bad as Dwarf Fortress in some ways. In some ways, it's way worse than Dwarf Fortress. I just have to say it. If you've never done it, if you've never done Dwarf Fortress, you should try it now that they have it on Steam. It is absolutely worth a shot. I'm going to do a plug. I have played a lot of Dwarf Fortress. It is very entertaining. It soaks up my time like no one's business, and in a way that this game just does not. Because Dwarf Fortress is about functionally the same thing, but you're dwarves, and so basically it's like your entire civilization is undergrounder, aesthetic undergrounder, making the game way simpler. Really. Oh, and they like alcohol, so that would not be teetotaler. That would be, I don't know what to call that. They don't really have like an alcoholic trait that I can think of. But I mean, as long as you supply them with their, fix and you give them those things, they're happy. You will note I'm not growing any like smokeweed or anything. In some of my early forts, I really liked growing smokeweed because, you could use it to trade stuff. And now I'm just like, screw that. It's not. I do not know what, if, and, or when, where, why there is anything in this game that I even remotely feel compelled to trade for. Ever. I'm sitting here making this video, and I'm literally like, I just decided my next fort's going to be tribal. I'm going to do a tribal fort next. I got the mod that allows me to upgrade their tech so it doesn't have to grind as long. And a tribal fort is pretty fun. Have I mentioned the Naked Brutality? I think I did. If you've never done Naked Brutality, I'll mention it real fast, because Naked Brutality is really easy. Really easy. Assuming you put down a couple traps. If you can't put down some traps, you're dead. If you put down some traps, you're fine. It's really that simple. I can't believe it's saying that, but it's true. The stupid traps are just ridiculously OP. They are ridiculously OP. And I will point out there again, I'm spending a ton of time just getting rid of the home zones in places I don't want it and getting it in places where I do want it. That's most of the game. Yeah, I think that covers everything. I'm trying to think of what else I could talk about here. Growing the 40 food, making bricks. I like to make everything out of brick. Or smooth stone. It's easy, it's reliable, it soaks up a ton of damage, and it doesn't burn. My single favorite trait, it does not burn at all. It makes your building fireproof, and if you're like, dude, that's not important. No, actually, it's super freaking important. Later on that note, I'm going to actually have my power lines running around the fort. I am never going to do it this way again. I designed it this way. See, I'm getting rid of this because I'm just like, I don't like it. I'm so tired of all these blue zones. Bad move, but that's okay. I am never going to do it that way again. I put down pavement just to keep the plants off, and honestly, I regret it. Walls is much better. I am actually, if I had, that's a big if. If I had a fort with this much open square footage, ever again, I will be carving it into a ton of really small grids, maybe 9x9s. Yeah, basically a bunch of 9x9 rooms. I'm not joking. I am so not joking. If I had had something like that when those drop pods fell, it would have completely nullified them as a risk, as a threat. And the AI really does kind of behave oddly around walls. But I mean, those pods would have fallen into certain rooms. I could have secluded them, isolated them really, really fast, really minimal risk. And then, I mean, I could have just gone in and mopped them up. You'll note I don't use automatic doors. Wood doors are fine. Actually, I'm suspicious I'm going to end up using the leather ones, leather flaps, the cloth doors. I actually think I am going to use them above all the doors. I'll use some wood doors like for security. I'll use stone doors for, or no, stone doors for security, wood doors for, I don't know. And then the flap is for like accessibility, mobility, that kind of thing. The leather flap is really fast to go through it in and out, if I remember right. It's almost not even there, literally, like not there. They just go right through it like it's a ghost. Whoo! Screw an automatic door, guys. All right. Yeah, we're definitely going to be wrapping it up around this point. Those white squares is because we ran out of brick for building the floor. I am not color coding this thing. I never will color code this thing. Get over it if you don't like it. Yeah, that's right. Whoa! Okay, no. What was that? Oh, that's a weird audio glitch thing. Okay, well, yeah. That's a thing. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I was going to go a little bit longer, but you know what? I think this really is a good spot to stop the video. And so we will. You guys have a good one.